Alrighty. Good morning. Focus on me. Come on. Focus. There we go. Getting a little bit of interference on the mic today. I don't know why, but hopefully it's not too bad on your end. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Monday. Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, little new thing we're doing here on the live streams. Go ahead and mark your attendance on a daily basis. The link is down in the description below. It's the first link in the description below. You can go ahead and mark your attendance. And I'm going to try this out. We're going to try something new. So you put in your name, you put in the date, put in an email, right? We need the email because this is where we're going to reach out to you for giveaways if you win. So it's the first link in the description now. On every live stream, every day you come in, you mark that attendance. At the end of the week, we will do a giveaway. We'll do a giveaway. Maybe what I might do, you know what I'll probably do now that I think about it, I'll probably send out the link like at the end of the stream. Have you pressed the like button? That's good. I should add that. I should add that in the form. Did you press the like button? I like that. Welcome back, guys. Just thinking of ways to make things fun and, give back to you guys. So just a little idea there for now. We'll see how I fine-tune it. Welcome back, guys. Happy Monday. Hope you're all having a great day. Hope you had a great weekend. Nice, relaxing weekend. Feeling good, feeling ready to go. Got a lot of nice setups out there, a lot of nice market action. Opportunity is there's no shortage of opportunity right now in the stock market, which is great. We love that. A lot of movement, a lot of trading opportunities, a lot of individual equities setting up beautiful trades, and some really nice momentum and volatility. So, love it, love it, love it. CRWV, yeah, that's actually something I'm watching today, Joe, Chef. I was going to call you Joe. It felt weird calling you Joe. Chef. Yeah, we'll talk about that one today. I actually have that done in the Desi TA today. I see a little opportunity there. We do have earnings tomorrow on CRWV, so a little bit of a question there, but I do see something opportunity-wise. Slept a little bit wrong on the pillow last night. Got a little bit of a pain in my neck. All right. So, with that said, let's get started. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Opportunity this week, some decent earnings this week, but also some major economic news this week. CPI, PPI this week, consumer sentiment, inflation expectations, retail sales. So we do have a nice docket on the economic. So let's go ahead and jump in. Appreciate you guys supporting the Sunday prep videos. Those are doing really well. Top videos on the channel by a large margin. So I do appreciate that as well. Thank you guys for the support there. Hopefully it's helping. Here we go. Okay. So let's do this thing. Let's do this thing. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Early likes are the best likes. 1,200 people, 300 likes. Not off to a good start. All right, so here we go. Excuse me. Yeah, Micron's been... Oh, my God. Oh. Damn it. Micron's gone. Oh, no. All right. Well, this was a really nice opportunity today. Might still be a really nice opportunity today. But, yeah. Let's see. Okay. NASDAQ futures. You could do either or trading levels. We're really just going to, real name probably better. I mean, it's not bad to know what your actual name is, but it's up to you, man. We're just going to reach out via email. So if you don't put a real email there, then you're probably not going to get a message from me. So at least a real email, right? All right. So NASDAQ futures. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, let's jump into the economic earnings calendar. That'll be the first place we go. So let's do that real quick. Economic earnings calendar. Let's pull that up. Let's look at the major events of the week. So right here, you guys can see major events on the week. Not much today, but we do have CPI tomorrow morning. We have PPI Thursday morning, unemployment claims as well. And then we have Friday retail sales and Friday consumer sentiment inflation expectations. So some big ones, right? Some important ones, things to pay attention to for sure. Just be aware if you do have any swing trades tomorrow, right? CPI is in the pre-market. Any swing trades overnight, CPI is in the pre-market. That's the first thing I would understand heading into this week. So that's that. Pretty clear, economic, pretty normal CPI week there. Nothing out of the ordinary. Earnings. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Earnings calendar. You guys can see right here. Some decent ones. Nothing wild, but some things to watch. Some interesting names here. First one, OKLO. This has been a great trading stock lately. They report earnings tonight after hours, so let's see how they do. Tomorrow morning, Circle. You guys know this has been sort of a very volatile name, Circle, so that'll be interesting to see. Tomorrow after hours, CRWV, which is actually setting up an interesting trade. CRWV, let's understand that it does have earnings after hours tomorrow. Kava, not really. It's traded this a little bit back when it had some more volatility. Lately, not much of a good trade in my opinion, but Kava, another one reporting earnings. Not too much here. Cisco, Applied Materials. It's really it, man. Nothing else I'm that interested in. But I guess it could be interesting to see what I would say Oklo, Circle, and CoreWeave do this week. I think I will just sort of monitor those and see what the results are from those. MNDY got crushed this morning. That's really the biggest downside mover of the morning is MNDY Monday. You guys can see right here. Big drop. So, not really anything I'm interested in there. Let's just jump right into the key levels. So, NASDAQ futures. The key levels today, and I think a very clear level today, is right here between, and it's really this Thursday high, right? So right now you guys can see this Thursday high at 23,671. You can see that we are holding that pretty much perfectly here in the pre-market. So we pulled back here in the pre-market, we pulled back to the Thursday high a day, and we held it pretty much perfectly, and now are consolidating and moving higher. We reclaimed the 23.7, which I believe is also a very important level, which is sort of that Friday high, that Friday rejection from the intraday action. So really clean spots between 23.671 and I would say 23.700 right here. If we zoom in, we can see on the 5-minute chart, we have previous highs, 23.7, and then the Thursday high, 23.671. So that is definitely an important demand zone right in there. Now, I have more to that zone because I'm not sure yet where that holds. I'm just going to continue to monitor this area. I have this demand all the way down into the 23,671 level, which is the low of day. I guess you could call it low of day. Not technically the low of day, but the low of any pullback on Friday, right? Right here, 23,671, 23,671, right? That is a very, very big level. Now, you may just think that is a short-term level there, but guess what? It's not. So if I go to the hourly chart, actually, you know what? I'm going to go to the 5-minute chart, and I'm going to show you exactly where that 23,671 comes from. And you can see that is right here from this Thursday of 2 weeks ago. And if you watch the Sunday prep video, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. You have this 23,671 low. You have this 23 617, not 671. 23,617 low, 23,617 rejection. On Thursday of 2 weeks back, this was the perfect break and retest rejection that left this market, that kept this market lower, right? Right here. 23,617 moved this whole market lower down to 22.8. It was all because you failed back under that 617 level, which was these highs right here as well. Now you can see that that exact 23,617 level is the exact level that we held on Friday intraday, right? That exact level we just saw on that Thursday is the exact low that was established on Friday of last week. So that is very interesting. 23,617, anything, in my opinion, between this zone could be a very strong demand hold. So I'm watching the whole zone. I don't know exactly what spot it's going to be. It's Monday, so there's some question marks to be had, right? What happens in that zone? I need to see it. I need to witness it. I need to watch price action within it to really get a good read. But for now, for me, anywhere between the 617 low and the 700 high, to me, is a major demand zone that I will continue to look to see if bulls defend. Right? That's going to be where I look to see if bulls defend to start the week. If we continue to defend that zone, I think the market stays strong. You can already see that the Thursday high at 671 is holding. We still have that 617 below. And now you've reclaimed and held the 700, which is very strong. Right here, 600 or 700, holding back above 700. So pretty much my game plan today is to look for pullbacks into that zone and then look to see how they hold. Right, that's my game plan. Let's get pullbacks back to that zone, which may have already happened right here, unfortunately. But let's get pullbacks into that zone and let's see how they hold. If we start breaking down, right, if we fail under this Friday low here at 617, then I would be a little bit more interested in deeper pullbacks, right? I would be watching the pre-market high at 580. I would also be watching that low at 500, right, to see if those hold. And then again, if we really start to lose it, we have the daily 20 down here at 400, which is the lows from Thursday of last week, right here at 400. So you got your daily 20 down here at 350, 400. That's a big spot. You have this pre-market low here from Friday at 500, which held perfectly. You have this little pre-market high here at 580, which could be a little bit of a spot. And then above that, it's the 617, it's the Thursday high, and it's the 700. Going to be watching pretty much this entire zone. I need more information. Right? It's Monday. It's the first day of the week. We don't know who's going to come out, firing this week. Is it going to be the Bulls? Is it going to be the Bears? Do we get, failures through this zone today? Do we get a pullback and a hold today? Right? That establishes a new long opportunity. We need to see what happens down in this zone below. Very important. To the upside, it's very clear that you are trading up into all-time highs. And so what does that, put into my mind? Probably doesn't put much risk reward to the upside, right? It's not great. It's potentially some nice scalps towards it. But at the end of the day, you have a very clear failure at this 800, 845 zone, which you can see just visibly on your charts. So is it that advantageous, that, lucrative to be longing right back into that all-time high? Probably not, right? It might get a little bit tough. If you take a long off like this 700, maybe you get, 100 points on the NASDAQ, which is a nice move on a scalp. But is it a nice move on a swing trade? Is it a nice move to hold overnight? Do I want to hold longs overnight, hoping that this breaks out with CPI tomorrow? All right, a little bit tough to build that thesis. So 22.8, 22.845, clearly the high that needs to break. If we get a hold above these highs here, then yeah, we're going up, guys. There's no question about it, right? You start holding above 800, 845 here. You start turning this into a nice low like you're doing here, and you just start maintaining, you're going higher. There's no question about it. But you have to know today we are still up against that high, right? We're up against that high right here, 800, 845, something to be aware of. So for me, today, pullbacks in this zone, what do they do? That's my question, right? What do pullbacks look like today? Do we get a nice little pullback? Do we see intraday holds and maybe we close the day back above, right? I want to see what forms here on the intraday today to get a good read. This could be a nice day to stay patient and wait for pullbacks into this zone and let it establish a nice level and let it establish a nice hold before looking for the upside. That's really it. ES. So you can see how the NASDAQ, which is sort of interesting here, right? The NASDAQ is holding right above that Thursday high. You can see right here. See this right here? That is exactly Thursday's highs. And that is the exact level the NASDAQ just held. Well, if you go to the ES, you are sitting right under the Thursday high, right? So there's a little bit of a discrepancy here. The ES is under Thursday highs and rejecting it, while the NASDAQ is above it and holding it. So a little bit interesting, right? A little bit of discrepancy, something to pay attention to start this week. 64.2675 is the exact high on Thursday, and that is exactly where we're failing in the pre-market today. We need to get above that. If we can get above if we can get above at 64.2675, then I think you will continue higher up to this high here at 64.42. And if you break above this high, you're going to all-time highs at 64.60, 64.68. All right, but we need to clear out this high, 64.2675. That is very, very important. Now, to the downside, I think there is some very key pullback longs, and the first one I'll be watching is right in this zone between 6,400 and 6,390. This is a really nice zone here. Here's lows, here's highs, and this was the exact zone that held on Friday of last week. So you can see right here, between 6,400 and 6,390, you have a very nice hold here on Friday. Nice little pullback and rocket higher off 6,390. So I am definitely going to be watching what happens in this zone here. 6,390, 6,400. Is Tesla going? Oh, yeah. Oh, baby. We talked about that Tesla weekly chart, man. It's starting to play out. It's gonna get exciting. Let's see. So, nice pullback long area on the ES today. I would be looking for this zone right here to see if it can give us a little pullback long, give us an opportunity to get new entry points down at that key demand. If you break under 63.90, which is this low from Friday right here, then I think you get a nice pullback towards your daily 20. That could be really nice, right? Pull back towards your daily 20, pull back into 63.75, 63.66, and then see if that creates a new long opportunity. So I wouldn't mind little pullback longs today. If we get them, I think that's great. I'm not sure we will because this market is absolutely on a heater. So we could just open up and squeeze through these highs. Very possible. But if we do start to see failures at this Thursday high, I would be aware that pullbacks are likely the better opportunity rather than longing right into that level, right? If we get above it, then you could start to squeeze higher. 64.42, 64.60. That daily 20 SMA right here is definitely sort of the thing that should be on your watch, right? That can continue to be the best pullback long, right? Sort of stay along this uptrend right here. You know, stay along that uptrend, give us a pullback to the daily 20 again, create another huge long opportunity. Could be very nice. Let's see if we get it. SPY. So SPY needs to clear out 639 today. That is this high right here at 639. That's these lows right here, 639, and this pre-market high at 639. If you clear out 639, then I think you're going higher, right? Over 639, you're going 640.28. You're going all-time highs in my opinion. So 639, you clear that out. I think you're going to go to this high right here. That's 640.28. Above that, all you have left is all-time highs, guys, at 641.57. So not much left above if you get a hold above 639. Holding above 639 today, I would say facilitates upside towards that all-time high. You fail 639 today, you start to see failures there. You start to fail maybe back under the Thursday high at 638.18. Then guess what? You get your nice pullbacks. Pullbacks to 635, 636. Pullbacks to 633, 632. Those are going to be the two zones I watch. All right, right here. This zone from Friday, 635, 636. Below that, pullbacks here to 633, 632. Okay, daily 20 SMA would be catching up to price action as well and could be a really nice pullback long. That only happens if you fail 639 today. If you get above 639 and hold above it, all-time highs probably would be my assumption. QQQ. So Qs, the best pullback long in my opinion on the Qs is 572, 571 zone. That is these previous highs here. That is these previous highs here. That is the previous highs here. And this would be a fantastic little pullback long in my opinion. The Thursday high is 573.32, which I think is the exact level that just held. 573.32. I'm just going to go ahead and put this on my charts as a Thursday high to make sure I'm aware of where that is. So right there, that's Thursday highs, and that is exactly where you just held in the pre-market. So you can see right here, Thursday's highs held right there. So you are holding very clearly above that Thursday high from last week, and if we continue to do that, you're probably looking for upside. I would be looking for pullbacks all into this zone. If we do get pullbacks back to 572, 571 zone, I don't mind that, right? That would really create a nice opportunity in my eyes to give you a pullback on a larger time frame back to these highs here, these rejections, like I just said, back into this zone right there. That could be great. But for now, you're holding that Thursday high at 573.32. And all you got left, my friends, is 577 all-time highs. You get above 577 all-time highs, there is really no reason to think that this market is going down. So just be aware before longing today into this high. Make sure you know if you long off the open, you're longing right into the all-time high. That could be sort of questionable, right? And you could fail, could fake you out, right? We could do something like this where we sweep the high, fail back under, and reject. If we do that, you should be aware of that, right? You have to know that level's there. 577, 576 zone. Make sure you're aware that you have that rejection above. Is Amazon going? Amazon looks good. Yep, definitely a nice watch. We got some really nice watches today, for sure. Tesla as well. Yeah, some huge watches out there, no doubt. Before we move on, let's go to the SMH. The SMH is sort of popping here. Nice. I think the SMH needs to hold above, in my eyes, this it sort of adjusted this level. I think it's the 294. Somewhere between 294, 293 is, I think, where you want to see a hold come in today on the SMH. Let me go ahead and readjust these levels back to green because we are now trading above them. So anywhere between this 294 to 293, this is going to be where I look for holds today on the SMH. If the SMH can hold above these previous highs, turn that into a very strong low today, something like this, right? Then I think SMH is going towards your all-time high at 298. This is definitely going to be a watch for me. How do semis react today? If semis maintain, right? And I think, honestly, if I look at this in a little bit more detail, right, take a look at this right here. It might be a hold of that Thursday high as well, right? Look at this. I would probably actually move this down. That Thursday high, I'm sorry, not Thursday high, this little pre-market, this Tuesday area here, 292, that actually might be the spot to be watching as well, right? Somewhere between this high here, right, is potentially where this is going to try to hold. So it looks like that's what it's doing right now, 292 right here, holding. I would just want to see us clear out that 294 area. That Thursday high, though, is where the Thursday rejection is 294.71. Okay, hold on. I might adjust that a little bit. I'm just going to put this as a Thursday high here. So there's a little bit of a zone here that I'm watching, right? I'm a little bit cautious. I would say 294.71 is the level that you're probably going to want to get a very clean hold above. Let me readjust this slightly. I like the holds above these highs right now, but I do see this Thursday high. So for me, you know how I might do this? I might adjust this slightly. Let me go ahead and lock in and adjust this slightly here. This is how I would actually have this. So I do 293.50 down to 292. And then I would have 293.50 down to 292 zone. That's going to be the area I'd like to see hold. And then I'd like to also put a red level here to just indicate my Thursday high. Make sure I'm aware that we have a nice clear Thursday high there. These are very sort of tight zones though. Let me go ahead and look at it. How do I like this? Yeah, it's a little bit tough here. It's like not perfect on the SMH. These levels are a little bit sloppy from the past, right? But I think, okay, I think this looks nice to me. 292 right here. These lows, these highs, 292. That's going to be my must hold. Okay, so I have a must hold level 292 here, here, here. That's clean. and then 294.71 Thursday's highs. That's what I'm going to look for. Perfect. So you have this low that must hold in my eyes, and then right here the highs that have to break. So you have your little channel here that I want to see it get, hold above. Above Thursday highs, you're going to all-time highs. You fail back under 292, you're coming back down to the daily 20. That's how I'm going to have that on the SMH. But for now, I would just say this, I just don't want to be long into the Thursday high rejection, right? That's why I'm adjusting this. I don't want to be stuck longing right into this, right? Look at that. That's not very kind. So if you get, I don't want to be stuck longing right here and then seeing this happen again, just like it did here, right? That's not interesting to me. So in that case, I want to see a nice hold above this high. If we can get that today, start maintaining above that zone, that would be really good. That would be really good. Okay. Bitcoin did exactly as we talked about for about, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks. We talked about the daily chart break and retest on this live stream every day for the last week or week and a half. And that is exactly what Bitcoin did. Previous highs, break, retest, consolidation, breakout. Very nice. Perfect. So Bitcoin's on a little bit of a strong move this morning. It's given back some of its gains off the $123,000 level. So that's very clear. 123 flat is exactly where it's failing. So that's very clean. So in my eyes, a little bit cautious of longing this pullback because I don't know where it's going to hold, right? I don't know whether it's going to be, I would say probably the daily 20 is going to be the key spot, right? I would say around that 118,000 level would be a very nice spot to look for. It has been a tough spot to break above. So right around that 118,000 would be sort of a key spot to be watching on a pullback right here, back down to the daily 20, fill that gap, and then start to find that new long again. That would be a really nice watch there at 118. But I would be very understanding that the 123 is failing for now. So you got 123 highs, 118 daily 20, and then of course that 114 demand that held. All right. So that is the overall market levels. You're still under that Thursday high on the ES. I would make sure you're aware of that, right? Look at what just happened. Look at that. Right? That is something to pay attention to today. There's something going on there at that Thursday high, 64.26. It's failing while the NASDAQ is above it. That's interesting. It's interesting. So please be aware of that today. That's sort of your SPY 639, right? That's your ES. Thursday high on the dot just keeps having problems this morning, right? Look at it again right there. So please have that level on your charts. That's a big spot. All right, let's jump into Tesla. Tesla, I think, is a very interesting opportunity as of late. You guys have seen me talk about this weekly chart. You've seen me talk about this previous high right here turning into new lows. Highs, 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 lows, right? This is a very interesting consolidation above this 280 level, and to me looks like it could be ready for one of those major Tesla moves. Now there's still levels above that we have to be aware of, so we can't just sort of just full portfolio along on Tesla, because you guys know Tesla can find spots and just sort of fail, something that looks like it's starting up. Tesla loves to do that, right? You start to see something starting, it's forming, and it's looking like it's going to break out, and then failure. Sort of like right here, right? Tesla, everyone's probably like, oh, here we go. Tesla's going to break out, bam, straight back down. So we got to be careful. We got to keep following our levels. For me, this zone above right here between 335, 338 is not going to be a joke of an area. I would be very cautious of staying long or being long or initiating a long in this zone right here. We can see very clear failures to move higher, and you are going to trade in that zone today. So I would want to see Tesla holding above this area today. If I see Tesla do a little break and retest and maintain this area today, then I would absolutely be looking for squeezes to the upside, looking for targets of 347 to 350. That would be my target. Pulling back, if we do reject this high at 335, 338, pulling back to this 328 would be nice, but to me, even better would be here at 323. This would be an incredible pullback at 323. that would give us a gap fill, not really a gap, but sort of a low volume straight up move fill. And that would also bring us back to the daily 200 SMA, which would be awesome, back at 323. So not sure you're going to get that today unless there's some kind of like crazy rejection move that is sort of just not expected, right? Because Tesla looks relatively strong, but it's always possible. It's always looming. Major failures here. Be careful of those there. Pullbacks are better between 328, 323. This would be the zone you want to see maintain right in here on a pullback long. If you get over 338, I don't see why you're not going to these highs here at 350, right? I think you'd go pretty much straight there. Over 338, it's possibly 340, which is sort of sketching me out a little bit, but I really don't have a reason to put the level at 340. I see 338, I see 335, so I'm going to have to trust that. We'll have to see how it maintains in there. Over 338, I think you're going to 350, right? And then if you guys go back to the weekly chart, I want to show you something that's very important. Here on the weekly chart, it's going to be big over 370, right? See this 370 low here? See this 370 weekly chart rejection here? See this 370 weekly rejection here? If we get over 370, this thing is all systems go, in my opinion. So 370 is really the level that needs to break for Tesla to really get going, right? Because think about this. A lot of people see this sort of wedge and they think, okay, unlimited upside breakout potential. But really what this is, in all honesty, is just a sideways consolidation between these lows and this high and these lows, right? So really, this is nothing more. It looks like it's starting to wake up, right? Starting to curl higher, which is great. But really, it's still just a sideways consolidation between 370 and 280, right here. This is still just a weekly chart consolidation. So it could just do one of these and one of these, right? And then come right back down, right? And so everyone that's like sort of getting aggressive on Tesla, looking for a breakout, gets stuck longing right into this weekly rejection point right there. So you could play this one of two ways, right? You could start scalping the intraday over some of these short-term key levels. And obviously I think I would, because it's, it's presenting opportunity. But while you're doing that, you need to understand that everything is still questionable as long as you're under this 370 high, right? Look at this, here and here. So any push higher here could fail again at 370 and just sort of keep this in a sideways consolidation. So horizontal lines, I think this is something TB says, Trade Brigade, and I agree with them. Horizontal lines are always more important than, vertical or sort of diagonal flags and diagonal breakout lines. Horizontal lines are always the most important, meaning previous failure points, previous hold points. So momentum looks there. It's getting exciting. Let's trade the intraday, but also let's make sure that we remember in the back of our minds that 370 needs to break, or this is nothing more than just a sideways consolidation from the channel lows to the channel highs. All right, that's really all it is. So got to be aware of that. NVIDIA, great pullback long this morning. You guys can see right here, 179, 180, lows, nice hold. That continues to be a nice pullback long area. I think I'd still want a little bit lower, right? I think I'd still want a little bit lower at 174 personally, down to the daily 20. But if NVIDIA gets over 184, this thing's gone, right? If you get over 184 and you're holding above it, that's a hold above these highs, and these highs. And that's probably a reason to look for upside. So just got my alert set, right? You can see these alerts have been on my chart since Wednesday of last week, and I just haven't found the trade on NVIDIA. Why? Because it's been stuck in the channel. So I like that, right? I'm just going to keep waiting for NVIDIA to break out of that channel. Okay, so yesterday on a Sunday prep, and man, don't say it ain't so, right? Don't make it this easy on me, but I mean, maybe, let's hope it's this easy. Yesterday on the Sunday prep video, we talked about AMD being my top SMH watch, and the reason for it was a inverse head and shoulder with a right shoulder forming above 167. We said in that video yesterday to look for a pullback to 167. That is exactly what happened on AMD this morning, which is crazy. It's doing exactly what we talked about last night. We said how we have a left shoulder here, we have a head here, which is holding the daily 20, and I wanted to see a right shoulder form here at 167. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. To me, this looks very much like an inverse head and shoulder formation. And if you break out of this downtrend and you break over this 175, I think you're going to get another big move here. So this is very interesting on AMD. Watching 175, watching 167. Going to look to see if we can get above that 175 level today. If we can, I am definitely looking to get AMD to the upside. If we go to this daily chart, you can see once again, I mean, probabilities are on your side, right? What are the probabilities over the last 3-4 months that AMD has held the daily 20? Well, let's look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? I mean, every single time it's held the daily 20. So guess what? You're creating the same exact flag pullback to the daily 20 that you have every single time on this run since April, right? Breakout, pullback, long. Breakout, pullback, long. Breakout, pullback, long. Breakout, pullback. I mean, would you rather say, oh no, this is this, right? I mean, what is that based off of? So, let's see. Market's got to stay strong. SMH has got to stay strong for this to play out. But man, oh man, should you be watching this. Because this pullback that you just got on AMD should not be looked at as, oh, this thing's a piece of shit. Now, there is a major weekly level above, which I would be cautious of, right? That's a major, major, major weekly supply, which we've talked about in the past, right? If we look at this chart, huge weekly rejection, huge weekly rejection, huge weekly rejection, and another potential huge weekly rejection. So be aware of that, right? That's not some kind of joke up there. But it's still potentially interesting to be long into it, right? Off these lows, longing into this. I would be watching this. MU, oh my God. Okay, well, Pump Pump. I don't know if Pump Pump got a piece of this one, but holy, yeah. This is gone. I was looking for MU to hold above 117 today for a long into 121.50. And then 125, and you are already there, which is just crazy. So, with that said, a little bit of an adjustment now. I would say a pullback to 121.50 would be a dream, if we can get that, right? 117 would be a dream, but I doubt we're going to get that. Over 125, let me see here. Hold on now. We have a weekly high here. What's this weekly high? Okay. This is a big high here. 130.50, 130. Okay. 130. Let's put a level there. That 130 is going to be no joke there. That's a major weekly high. Look at that. Okay. So 130 on MU. Huge spot above. So that's probably going to cause a little bit of a failure in the short term. 130 on MU. So I would be watching that. Big time. If you hold above 125, you're going to 130. All right, so right here, 125, you hold above that, you're going to 130. But I would prefer like this and then this, personally. So let's see. 121.50, 125, 130. Nice job, Pump. Yeah, I'll get into CRWV. All right, so that's the semis that I'm watching. Really not too much interest on Broadcom. You know, Broadcom, it's the same thing over and over again. You can look for a break and hold above this high at 307. You are holding above that 302, 300 zone, which is great. So looks great as well. I would say wait for a breakout over 307. If you can get a breakout over 307, this could be in play today. So top watches on the semis, AMD and MU. Very interesting. A lot of volatility behind them. All right. Moving on to some Mag 7 names. Amazon is slightly interesting, but I'm going to wait for my alert to hit. I need Amazon over 226.50 in the daily 20, so not much there. Meta, not much here either. I need Meta over this 781, 785 high. Meta could be forming somewhat of a, wedge here and getting ready to break out for a secondary move. So I would be, I would have alert set. I just don't think I want to trade it right in the center of this channel, right? So I have my alert set at the channel high, channel low. Immediate watches that I have today on the Mag 7. Number one is Google. I really like a pullback to Google 199.200 today. This would be a great pullback long to look for. Right back into these highs right here. Give me a little pullback. Give me a little long. Watching that 199.200. And then, of course, we got to watch Apple. Apple has been on a heater. And you guys know we've been talking about Apple before it started to get, hot, and unfortunately too early, right? We were sort of long Apple back here in mid-July, and it was just too early before it actually got the move going. So unfortunate there. But eventually we were very right on this thing and took a nice piece of this move, but there's still more in my opinion. So for Apple, 225. That's the level that I want to see hold today. If you can hold over 225, that's a great spot. If you break 225, you're coming back to the daily 20. So 225 daily, daily 200, not daily 20, daily 200. If you break the 225 back to the daily 200, under that 216. Target still for me is 236. So watching 225 today. Watching Netflix. Netflix. We've been tracking this thing for a very long time. And guess what? It's over 1200. So this is a very interesting opportunity for me. You guys can see right here, Netflix, previous highs, 1200. It's a previous rejection point. Also, the daily 20 SMA. You are above it today. If you can continue to hold 1200, I like Netflix into 1233. Above 1233, 1260. Above that, 1275. This is very interesting today. Looking to see if you can have a hold above 1200 today on Netflix. That's a big watch. Let's go to CRWV. So CRWV has earnings tomorrow, so I'm a little bit cautious on that, but there could be some intraday action to be watching today. There's a very major hold that we're making a hold back above, and that is right here. Can you see it on the daily? A little bit. I see it more on like the 4-hour, and that's right here, guys. So on the 4-hour chart, take a look at this. See this high right here? See this low right here? This is where we previously had a break and retest long right here off 130.76 right there. See that? Look what is holding perfectly this morning. Look at this. That is the exact highs from Friday, and that is the exact pre-market lows. So that is very nice. All right, that's very interesting. CRWV reclaiming this level here. That was Friday highs and now holding here in the pre-market. You do have earnings tomorrow, so a little bit questionable, like I said. But upside targets would be 140 in the daily 50. Above that, 147. Could be really interesting here. Something I might watch, right? I might actually, because this could be a strong comeback name. I'm going to keep eyes on it. Coinbase, Palantir, and Hood, I think is how we're going to end this. Yep. Coinbase, Palantir, and Hood. Coinbase, big squeeze. We've been tracking this Coinbase upside, but happened all here in the pre-market, actually in the after hours last night, and it's given back the whole thing. So, might stay a little bit away from this one today, man. I don't know. It's a little bit sketchy to me, just the way this thing's moving. But for now, I'm just going to monitor what happens at 316.50 personally. Going to look to see what happens at this 316.50, see if it holds tight. That'll be just something I monitor. Not sure I'll trade it today, but a good monitor. Palantir, you need pullbacks to 184. You need a pullback to Thursday highs. I need to see it retest this high. I have no reason to long it without that, right? You failed back under 188. That's a major rejection from Friday. You're back under it. I don't like that for longs. If you stay under 188, you're going lower, in my opinion. You need lower levels. So for me, 184 would be the next spot. If you break under 184, this thing could give some back, guys. Again, Palantir is up a lot from earnings, right? So, and pretty much on a straight up move. So givebacks are good, right? You want Palantir to go lower. You want to get into Palantir, right? If you want to get into Palantir, let's get a little panic downside move, right? Let's get a little day that drops like 2-3%, and then let's see you pick it up, right? For me, this is the best pickup right here. 176, 178, that's the best pickup spot, no doubt about it. Let's get Palantir to cool off a little bit here. I think right there is the best long, without a doubt. I would feel a little bit uncomfortable continuing to long this sort of rope to the upside. But, hey, if it holds 184, it's not going lower, by the way. So just know that. If it holds 184, you're going up again. So 184, 178, that's what I'm watching. Last one is Hood, and Hood is on a heater as well, but I need Hood to pull back as well, right? Same thesis. Hood pullbacks here, 113, 112 zone. Below that, I love the 108 zone. So pullback longs, 113, pullbacks long, 108. Big watches. Okay, that's going to be it. NASDAQ futures just sort of floating above our key demand. ES just floating right below our key supply. So Little bit tricky out there today, my friends. Just a tad bit tricky in terms of the divergence between ES and Q. ES below Thursday highs, NASDAQ above Thursday highs. When something like that happens, it's probably right to stay cautious, right? Let them line up. Let them re-correlate each other. See which one leads. Does the NASDAQ bring the ES over Thursday highs, or does the ES bring NASDAQ below Thursday highs? What happens, right? Give it some time. Let it trade. You don't need to be clicking the button right at the market open today, right? Let's see how this cleans up, because right now it's not perfect, and we want perfect. So that Thursday high is definitely going to be something I watch, and I want to see it correlate. I want to see a little bit more togetherness on these two markets, because they're a little bit divergent this morning. Okay? All right, guys. I hope you have a fantastic trading day. If you want to trade live with me every day besides Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, if you want to trade live with me, you can check out the link down below. Make sure to get your attendance in for today's live stream. That's down in the description below as well. Make sure to do your daily attendance to win a weekly giveaway every Friday. That's about it. Before you head out, please press that like button for me. Continue to subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.